Hello, opportunists. Boa noite, bom tarde, bom dia, which is about all the Portuguese I know right now. But whatever time of day it is for you, let's get to this. I apologize for this last week's show because I was pretty much, I feel like dying is not hyperbole, but that's pretty much what it felt like. So, welcome. I am changing things up a little bit because part of the whole dying thing, and I'm still recovering a little bit, I apologize, is where I reevaluate, like, oh, I did too much. And so now I have to reevaluate what I'm doing. And hello, AF Stewart. So, yeah, I'm just apologizing that I missed last week and that I've also not been good with keeping consistent times. Ever since the main show moved over to the HWA, the Horror Writers Association channel, I've been kind of oscillating around trying to figure out what replaces it and at what time. So there is going to be a new show coming, not to replace this one, because I really do like doing the weekly quick opportunities thing. But there will be another show that I'm not, I can't say all the details, but Jay Thorne should be involved, and it will be talking about AI, and it'll only be once a month probably. And there will be guests, and so we'll be doing another talk show on this channel for that time, and then that will also be over as a podcast on his podcast. So, but more details on that as we iron them out. I see I have an email I need to talk about that very thing right now. But let's get into this. So a few changes is I might start not doing this live. I can't decide because I haven't been very consistent with doing it live, but we'll see. And then the other change is trying to figure out what is a good time and day for this. So I'm going to be doing a little research on that. I think we are 5 shows in with opportunities. Over on the HWA channel, it's been going great. We had Alma Katsu last week on Exercise Your Rights, which is now Exorcise Your Rights. So that has been really fun. And I think this coming week is, I think it's Kyle Toucher. I think we're going to be talking about Kyle Toucher. But anyways, that is all of that. Let me get going on some opportunities. The other thing that I decided not to do, I have a tendency to overcomplicate. I don't know if anybody else has a tendency to overcomplicate, but if I'm going to start doing something, then I find out all the reasons why I can, well, if I do A and then B and then mix it with C, but sometimes do D and F, and then I wind up with this very intricate plan. This is what stops me from being an actual supervillain. I would overcomplicate my world takeover until it just takes too much time and I can't do it anymore. So, but this is to simplify. I was scripting out what I wanted to say to you instead of just going off the cuff and live. And I was putting it all in a blog post that then you had to go click on to see the links. And I was like, that is so dumb because I could just share opportunities and highlight what is actually on opportunities, which is the point of this. So excuse my sickness last week and excuse my overcomplicated nature. But let's get into this. So this is opportunities. This is kind of the whole point of the show. It is my newsletter on Substack, and it is full of opportunities. And this is the one that I just posted yesterday. It's July 26th to August 23rd. And what you have in this is just, when you scroll down, all of the open mics, the open calls, the new calls, the grants, the awards, everything that I can find to benefit authors. And this is the personal calendar I used to keep. And then I thought I'd be lazy and just turn it into a newsletter so I don't have to actually do a newsletter with more work, which went really great until I did the overcomplicated thing, as I'm prone to do. But now we're back to just doing the newsletter, so it's all cool. So in this newsletter, there's a couple things I want to point out. My apology for being sick last week. I do feel like my immune system isn't quite ready for Brazil, but we're getting there. And it also doesn't help that I tend to overdo everything. So, not sleeping also doesn't do the immune system very good. So, but one of the big things that I want to talk about is space and time. The new issue of Space and Time has just published yesterday. And if you remember that call, this was the AI discovery call that wound up being so inflammatory on Twitter. It's the first time I've ever had a Twitter flame kind of like, oh, fury. And so, yeah, that was an interesting experience. So that issue is now live. You can go on to Opportunities, which is just opportunitiessubstack.com, and you can find that. And the link to this exact Opportunities is in the description. But so that hit, we are still open for submissions right now until July 31st. You've got a few days left to give us speculative poetry or speculative fiction. Shorter is better for the fiction because then we can fit more authors in with our budget. And so I invite you to go do that. We would like more. We have a ton of submissions now. Usually we're pretty light on horror. And as a horror enthusiast, I'll say, I note that we usually don't get enough horror. But now that I've said that, we'll probably get only horror for the rest of the submissions. So we do have a new website makeover. Like the website has been redone, and it's been redone so that we can have more content in between issues. Right now, if you go over there, you can read Dave Hangman, Tom Howard, and Chris McCulley. There's poetry from Jennifer Shelby, Colleen Anderson, and R.K. Rugg. There's an excellent nonfiction piece from Jay Thorne, who I mentioned earlier about a possible collaboration show, and an excellent nonfiction piece from Leonard Spicer. But let's actually just go see that website. So this is the new website, and you can see that it is very content friendly. We have a lot of content. This is actually the content out of the magazine. We're taking, is it Lightspeed that posts their entire magazine in a drip form on their website? We're kind of taking the lead with that because the whole point of this is to give our writers and our poets and our artists more exposure. That's why we stay semi-pro. So that's why we're also putting it on the website now, because you can link to this. So this is some of the stuff we have. We also have a new column from Amanda Worthington. We have a new column coming from Maxwell I. Gold. This is where I have actually purchased extra content, and this is where those stories will be going as of today, because I need to get one out. And then this is Leonard's column on science or fiction in 50 years. Excellent column where he takes science fiction ideas, like say the flip, well, it wasn't a flip phone, but the flip communicators in Star Trek back in the 70s, with the old original Kirk. And how likely would it be that we will have those in 50 years? In that case, very likely. And you can see that we have, thank you to everybody who requested subscriptions. We now do have digital subscriptions. So you can, for $24.99, you will have the digital issue sent directly to you in PDF and EPUB form. And for $500, you can get all the back issues, plus all the future issues for a lifetime if you want to go that way. Never worry about it again. And we also have past issues. This is all those back issues. We have every back issue of Space and Time now available. And let's go back to the opportunities. There's a couple things I wanted to highlight. One is I love the email I'm getting sharing opportunities. You guys are awesome. So one of the places I want to highlight is Medusa's Kitchen. This was shared by Lauren. I think Lauren. Let me go over here. This was shared by, Lauren M. And Lauren M. shared Medusa's Kitchen, which I have not had much of a chance to go through yet. But I'm excited to this week. But it looked like a really good place. There was a lot of different, well, here, we'll just go to it. A lot of different cool things to do for poets. And you can see why I haven't had a chance to really go through it yet. There's a lot on here. Medusa's Kitchen has a ton of stuff. But it's for poetry. And there's, I feel like, never enough markets for poetry. There's also a new magazine in town I have word of. It's called Magical Realities. It's going to be edited by Kendall Evans. It's science fiction, fantasy, and magical realism poetry. here I put payments not mentioned. I had a rumor that it's $10 a poem, but I haven't verified that, so that's why I just left it at that. There's no place actually to go and look at the information as of yet. So I did like a little blog post on it, which is all the information that I have, because I can't, there was too much information to share in the actual newsletter. But here's the email address of Kendall Evans, and that is the instructions I have to send poetry for their first issue. And you can probably also ask him questions like, how much is payment? And that was Colleen Anderson that shared this with me. So thank you very much, Colleen. And yeah, and then if I find out about the payment, I will definitely let you know. Tonight is the Horror Writers Association's continuing their Halloween in July. So if you're watching this actually on the day, you can go over to Halloween in July, supporting the HWA scholarships, which close on August 1st. So if you have intended to get your scholarship information in, don't delay. It's about to close. And there is, I think, 5 or 6 different scholarships to choose from, including a dark poetry one. But if you go over here to pledge to Halloween in July, the link is in Opportunities. The link is also in the description, I believe. You can go find out what panels have happened. It has been a brief history of Halloween with Lisa Morton, Les Klinger, and Kevin Wetmore. Then we had my panel, Brave New World, Exploring AI, with Jay Thorns. This is a good opportunity for you to see who he is, and Jason Franks. And then you can also see the Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology anniversary panel, which was hosted by Vince Laguno. And that was kind of coincidentally happened on the 1-year anniversary of Other Terrors, which is up for all kinds of things. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to announce it, but I just got a secret email that said that they're up for another high-level nomination. So congratulations, Other Terrors. Tonight is an audio-visual presentation on the writing and research of Bram Stoker's Dracula with Dacker Stoker. So, and then we're going to have this from Brian Keene back in the day. And then you can see this is the upcoming stuff right here. If you watch tonight and you want to donate, it's super easy. This goes, again, to support the HWA scholarships, which have done a lot of good things. And I could list them here, but I'm trying to keep this pretty brief. So that's that. That's coming up tonight that you can see Dacker. Oh, and so the other thing that I keep talking about for a couple of weeks now, I feel like before I got sick, was I'm going to start giving away a free issue of Space and Time, vintage issues. We wound up we hunted these down for 3 years. We have every single issue of Space and Time. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm not watching comments. Oh, nice. So in the magical realism one, A.S. Stewart says another author friend has a poem in the new issue. And I don't know if she means Space and Time because I wasn't watching my comments and I apologize, or the new magical realism one that's coming up. So that's very cool. I'm going to watch for her to answer that. And then go back to the opportunities. Free issue. This week is number 60 from July 1981. This is the cover. The Bride of Balin. This was back in Gordon Linsner's time, from when he was publishing the magazine, and it was taken over by Hildy Silverman, and then I took it over with my family. But you can get that. You just go here, click, and you'll be able to download the magazine for free and read it. I did, because some of the content would not be friendly for today. There would be a lot of people that would be upset, like trigger warnings, and some of the content is not what today we feel is appropriate. So we do have this little notice in the cover that we've added. So if anybody, might be offended by some of the content that was appropriate at that time, but isn't necessarily appropriate today, there is that warning. But yeah, you can see this is the original. It is a scan, so it's not the best quality, but you do have access to see a piece of history and actually own the history for free. So, and coincidentally, while I was getting ready to figure out which magazine to share for the first one, I was approached by Mark McLaughlin. I had to actually look because I forgot. I was approached by Mark McLaughlin, who told me that Space and Time had published his first ever, he's a Bram Stoker winner now, and he's far into his career, but Space and Time magazine published his first story as Osiris Wills back in this issue in number 60. And he just released that in a book, a collection of his, short stories, As Osiris Wills and Other Weird Adventures, which you can find on Amazon. I linked it. This was really, I read this book. You can read it for free on Kindle Unlimited, or you can get the paperback. This was a really, really good book. I very much enjoyed it. The story hasn't changed much. He updated it a bit, but the story hasn't actually changed very much from the original one. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's Jennifer Shelby that is in this issue of Space and Time. I did not realize you guys knew each other. I love Jennifer. She did a fairy tale, a 3-part fairy tale for us quite a while ago, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's so cool. I love how small the community is, but also we're always finding new people. There's always new people. And so one of them is, now I have to figure out which tab I was on because I zoomed back. So one of them is Mark McLaughlin. So I haven't really gotten to know him very well, but I really enjoyed his writing in Osiris Wills, and I'm really excited because it was perfect timing that was the issue that I could give away and talk. So give him a little press, a little sharing his new collection, as well as you can get Space and Time for free from 1981. Next week, I'll have a different issue. I'll also start sharing the current issue at some point, probably after all of the stories have posted for free on the website, then I will actually just share the current issue. Because the whole point of this is to get the work out to readers so that the people who publish in the magazine can find new readers. And I have actually been waiting for A.F. Stewart to send us a poem or something at some point, because I happen to know firsthand that they are an excellent author themselves and poet. But going back, that is about it for Authortunity's forecast. Let me see how I did on the time. Yeah, not too bad. I'm going to say, instead of trying to cram it into 15 minutes, I'm going to aim for a half an hour or less. But go to Opportunities, link in the forecast, the link in the description. You can find downloading number 60 from July 1981. You can read Mark McLaughlin's story for free, As Osiris Wills. You can link to his new book. You can go figure out, find the information for Magical Realities, which is a new magazine coming. They will publish in 2024 in January, so that's kind of exciting. I always like to be in the first issue of something if I can. It's just really fun. You can go explore the new Space and Time website. You can go get the new issue, which has been our very inflammatory AI discovery issue. And now let me just show you a little preview of what is in here for free. This issue and the entire calendar, so some of that is paid and some isn't. I have 20 newly opened submissions. That means they just opened. 35 deadlines. There's 10 events for authors, which includes the Dacker Stoker thing coming up tonight. Also includes this show as a reminder, as well as some readings from, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll see them as we scroll through. I have this icon. If you see this, it means that's the first time I've shared this market. I hadn't really shared Rattle before, so I have some Rattle reminders in here this time. Reprint markets, there's 11 of them. There's 2 educational opportunities, 1 award opportunity, and 4 grants. And again, if you do find anything, share it to me at this email, and I will include it, and I will publicly thank you. So let's go forth and see what is in here. Here's the information for Dacker Stokers. Monstrous Magazine, which is James Aquilon, is about to close on July 27th. So here's the details for that. This is a weekly thing, or Rattle Magazine's Poets Respond Challenge, which I thought was very cool. It's you write a poem inspired by something that happened during the week on the news, and there's a lot on the news right now. And then they might choose it. You receive $100 for this. It's a weekly call. So, and you get a complimentary subscription to the print magazine, which is pretty cool. I don't know if they'd want to send it to Brazil, but I'd be happy with a PDF and $100. So I'm going to start trying for that. There's also the Edgar Awards. There's Spoon Knife 8 from Autonomous Press coming up, Silverblade Magazine, which just published a friend of mine and a student over in the Crystal Lake Publishing poetry class. There is the First Line translation prize for translations. Here's the information on the HWA scholarships that are closing. So here they are, $2,500 for Horror Writers Association, the Mary Scholarship, the Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley Scholarship for $2,500, 4 diversity grants of $500 each, the Dark Poetry Scholarship, which is $1,250 for a dark poet. The Dennis Etchison Young Writer Scholarship is $500 each, and up to 5 young adults can get the $250 Right Now Endowment Program Scholarship. And then I've got some more rattle things. Apparition Lit is another new market that I've shared. They have a monthly thing going on for reality show madness flash fiction prompt, which pays $30. And the submissions for that are open every month until the 14th. And I've put those in the calendar going forward. And this is the call that they are having today. As you can see, this little restack thing, when that comes up, if you are in Authortunities and you find something that you really think is worth sharing, this is how easy it is. You can just restack it. I kind of want to get rid of all social media and just go to Substack, but I'm not there yet. Here's some of the other stuff. And then we come down to, this is all the free stuff that's available right now. And then you come down to the subscription, which is $5 a month. And this is, I try to really pad this up. In this one, so you get a free sneak preview right now. There is Shinigura's Sweater from Underland Press, which is cozy cosmic horror. I am writing something for that. Don't take my idea. I'm doing Anubis and some monster from Lovecraft, and they're going to have like a little happy relationship. Then Pseudopod, this is a new market. Pseudopod is opening for submissions August 11th. They only stay open until August 22nd. They pay 8 cents for original fiction. I did not realize Pseudopod took short story reprints. So that's a good reprint market right there. That's $100 for a reprint, which is pretty good. And then Correo is also closing. I want to try to do that one. And that's it. And then I have the Other Stories podcast is about to close. But that sums up that. And I have one more comment from A.F. Stewart. Oh, is that the rattle thing that you've been waiting for? Yeah, I really need to get somebody to help me monitor comments when I'm off on another screen trying to show things. But we'll get there. Now that I've less complicated things, maybe I can like streamline this a little better. But that is about all for this. I do have a video. I thought it was really cool. This is, for space and time submissions. Yeah, I really, not to put you out on the spot, but I really encourage you because I've kind of been like, we are open until the 31st. And I know that you have some excellent work. Yeah, I would love to see you submit to Space and Time. Like, send me something. You know where I am. You have my personal email. So, but that is it for right now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm kind of really thought it was cool because when I ran into Mark McLaughlin, it started out, he was just thanking me for like just kind of sharing his memories of Space and Time, publishing his first story. I think you never get over that. The first story that I ever sold was To Love Words Easy. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. And it was something about a monster baby crawling out of the water and basically probably eating everybody. But it was, you had to have the theme of love, and so it was the mother's love calling to her baby from the water, and it was a Jersey Devil story. And so I think you never forget the first story that you sell. And so I was really, really happy that Mark sent me a message and that we started talking about this, because it just happened to coincide with me doing all the back issues, giving away all the back issues, one a week for free in Authortunities, plus, the new issues as those become available, and I can give those away so that we can get more readers for all our authors. So he was very kind, and he recorded a message about this. So I'm going to play his message and then in the show. If you have a story, it doesn't have to be your very first story, but if you have a story published in Space and Time at any point, send me a message. I am going to be trying to clear through the older ones first because it's cool. I'm going to give away number 1 next June for the Space and Time birthday anniversary. So I am saving that one. So if you have an issue published in number 1, that's when that issue will become free. But this is a good way for you to get some history, read through all the back issues, one a week, and and not have to pay for them, just free. So that is it. There will be another issue next week. I also made up a card so you can collect them, like a bingo kind of thing, but I'll share that next week as well. And now let's close out with Mark McLaughlin with his story, talking about his first published story in Space and Time, As Osiris Wills. I read the whole book, the whole collection. It's good, and you can read it for free on Kindle Unlimited. All the links are in Authortunities this week, and I will see you guys next week. If you have any comments or thoughts on what is a good time for this show, or should it be pre-recorded or live, let me know in the comments, and I'm taking all that into consideration while I try to pivot and recover from giving my one show away to the Horror Writers Association channel. But I do like that it's over there because that gives better exposure for the guests, which were generally all horror anyways. So that's it. See you next week. Good luck getting published this week.
Hello, this is Mark McLaughlin, author of Human Doll, Horrors and Abominations, Hepzibah's Gazebo, The Hell Next Door, and many other books that do not start with the letter H. And basically, I am coming to you today because I recently reached out to Angela to congratulate her on becoming the head of Space and Time. Well, that's pretty daunting title right there. She's the head of Space and Time. My own beginnings were with Space and Time because back when I was a teenager living on a farm, an area with a lot more plants and stuff on it than my current habitat, that I wrote a story and just stuck it in the mail, not really thinking nothing of it. I was only a teenager at the time, and before I knew it, it was accepted and it was in their next issue. I was shocked and delighted, and it forged my whole future. I've been writing and haven't stopped since. So you can either thank or blame Angela and her predecessor Gordon for that outcome. And basically that story was called As Osiris Wills, a story set in ancient Egyptian times. And what did a little farm boy know about ancient Egypt? Well, read the story and see. So I shall now return you to your day in progress, all your many days, all you great readers out there. And you have a great day yourself, and talk to you later. Bye.